Hi, I'm Dr. Shannon Ferguson and this is Move It or Lose It, and today we're going to be talking about shoulder strength. Having both flexibility and strength in place in any sort of injury is really important, but especially with the shoulders. It's a very unstable joint and there's a lot of things that can go wrong, and alignment plays really big into how the shoulder is working. And for a shoulder to be properly aligned, everything around it has to be flexible and strong. An important part of shoulder and back health is the serratus anterior, and when you're doing this exercise routine, I'd like you to keep in mind having the serratus anterior contracted. So what that means is it feels like you are bringing the ribs and the shoulder blade close together. So it's not bringing your shoulder blades in close toward each other, that's a rhomboid contraction, but bringing the ribs and the shoulder blade in toward each other. Remember, with any strengthening routine, start with no weights first. You can get a lot done with just an isometric contraction, and you want to make sure that your form is right and that your range of motion is in place. Once you've tried it without weights and you feel strong and safe, then you can graduate with very small weights. Always err on the side of caution and go on the very low side. I would rather that someone was building up longer term than cause an injury. So first I'm going to demonstrate the difference between a rhomboid and a serratus contraction. So this is a rhomboid contraction. So you can see my shoulder blades coming in toward the spine, and there's quite a dramatic movement of the shoulder joint. Whereas this is serratus. So the movement of the shoulder is much more subtle, and the shoulder blades are just coming in toward the ribs. Oh, there's Finn. So here it is from a different angle. So this is a rhomboid contraction, and that is serratus. And this is a contraction that you want to hold throughout the whole routine to work the serratus muscle, but also to make your shoulder joint more stable. First, we're going to start with delt raises. So I'm going to do 10. So a small bend in the elbow and raising just above the shoulder joint. I'm using the same weights throughout this whole thing. This is 6 pounds. And I felt quite challenged, but if you want to change your weights, because each muscle has a different capacity for strength. And if you only have one set of weights, just do more reps if you don't feel challenged enough. So that was 10. And now we're switching to a chest press. So shoulders at 90 degrees and elbows at 90 degrees and pressing up toward the ceiling. The weights should be about level with the middle of your sternum or your chest bone. Anytime you're putting weights above your head, you want to be really careful. Have someone spotting you or use really light weights and just do more reps. And now we're going to be doing a rear delt fly. So torso at 45 degrees, knees with a bend in them, and lift up toward the ceiling. You should feel this in the back of the shoulder, not the back, although the back does come into it a little bit. If you're using your back to bring the weights up, try using less weights or no weights, because your back might be compensating for the fact that you're lifting too much. Now we're going to do internal and external rotation. I was going to use weights and then I changed my mind because I realized my muscles couldn't handle it. So shoulders up and elbows at a 90-degree angle, and we're lifting up to look like a goal post, and this is external rotation. I'm going to do 5 at this angle. And this is internal rotation. The serratus comes in really hard in this contraction, so make sure that you are holding that serratus isometric contraction. So this is going to the same muscles at a different angle, so taking the delts out of it. So shoulders down, but elbows at a 90-degree angle, and this is external rotation, so opening the door. A little bit easier to have this weighted because your delts are taken out of it. And this is internal rotation. Your torso kind of gets in the way, so the range of motion isn't quite as good, but it's a little easier without weights. So then we're going to burn out with shoulder rotations. So arms out at 90 degrees and then just rotating an inch or two around that shoulder joint. Did about 20 forward. And this will really burn even without weights. You can add weights if you want, and I've switched to posterior rotations, and again about 20. If you want to add more challenge to this, definitely add weights, but with all the shoulder work that we've already done, you probably won't need it. Thank you for watching my video on shoulder strengthening. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please subscribe to get more updates on pain-free living.